started producing 2012.
Okay.
I was playing professional baseball by that time, and then I quit.
Oh, you were playing professional baseball?
Yeah.
What position were you?
I was a pitcher.
Wow.
Yeah, so I played all 4 years in college, then played independent ball for the Scottsdale Centennials for 2 years.
It's impressive.
Thank you. I was doing music all during that time, promoting all that, and finally was like, you know what, I don't love this anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm the type of person, if I don't love something, I'm gonna move on. You know, so I didn't love it anymore. It was more of a job. So I said, all right, let me go take music seriously. And I got a job at Jersey Mike's and was like, I'm just gonna figure this out. And eventually,
while making sandwiches?
Yeah, while making sandwiches. Yep.
How do I make a new track while making
a sandwich? Sir, can I get a number 13 Italian, please? Yes. Can we get a side of snare and clap with that?
What's up, guys? Today we are back with Bijou, and we are in Marina del Rey, walking the docks. Cool. So let's start out about you growing up in Phoenix, Arizona. What was that like?
Hot. The day I was born, it was 120 degrees.
How do you know this?
My mom told me. It's still that hot. I was just there. Phoenix is amazing. It kind of like sculpted who I am today, and just the people and the music scene there is incredible.
When did you start listening to EDM?
2009. I was in Kelowna, Washington, actually.
Oh.
That's a good question. I was playing baseball out there. And
you played sports growing up?
Yeah.
What else did you play? You're really tall, so
yeah.
I feel like you play other...
I played basketball, but I was terrible at it. I was just like made the team, but like rode the bench. But
just in case you needed someone tall.
Yeah, here we go. We got you. They put me in there like, all right, foul that guy.
Oh my god.
So funny, but yeah, I was playing baseball in the West Coast League, and we were out partying, and we went to this club because there's 18 plus in Canada to drink, or 19 plus, and we're like, we'll go to this club. Heard this music, found out about Tiesto, and here we are.
Tiesto was playing?
Tiesto wasn't playing, but there was like Tiesto like on in the club. But then the next day I found out Deadmau5 was playing on the beach, like right by the field, and I told my coach, I was like, yo, you gotta let me go to that. And he's like, no chance.
Did you go?
No.
Oh.
We had a game.
Okay, and so what were you listening to before EDM usually?
Hip hop. Hip hop and reggae.
So that's where your inspo kind of comes from, I guess?
Yeah, like my cousins were showing me like Tupac and Biggie when I was like 5 years old. They're like, don't tell your mom.
Wow.
It's like the older cousins.
And what did your parents do for a living?
So my dad's now retired. He was a teacher. My mom works in like a molecular lab. She was
Sounds very smart.
Yeah, she was like a flow cytometrist, and she's also like the manager of the laboratory.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she's a genius.
So you're the only creative in your field?
Or
your family, sorry.
You could say that, but my dad was in music before he was a teacher.
Oh, okay,
My dad was a manager. He played guitar, still does. He sings. He's actually back managing bands again, like his old bands from
just for
before.
Fun?
Yeah, just for something to do like locally.
Yeah. Okay, so there is creative.
Yeah, so it comes from that.
And are you the only child, or do you have siblings?
One brother.
Okay.
I have a younger brother named Sam. He's I'm gonna brag about him a little bit. He's a silver medalist in the Olympics.
Oh, wait, what? This past year?
No, Brazil, the last one.
What?
So he got the silver medal in the 3-meter synchro for diving.
Wow, that's amazing.
So he's
what a talented family.
Thank you. He just moved from Miami to Reno. Got a really cool job working actually for the company that makes all of the competitive diving boards.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
He's gonna be an engineer there.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool.
Yeah, it's like everywhere. You guys are all over the place. What about Phoenix do you love the most? Because I know you're based out of there. And
that's tough. But I would have to say the people. Like, because I've grown up there, I have like such a core group of friends, and like my family's there. Like, the number one thing for me is like my family.
Okay.
You know, and my team's there, like Relentless Beats, like Thomas, Daniel, everybody.
Yeah.
They're all out in Phoenix, so like I have like become kind of like homegrown. Like 2010, I was like in the streets handing out flyers for shows.
Oh wow.
You know, so like I literally came from the bottom of like selling tickets, handing out flyers, working as a promoter.
The street teams.
Yeah, I was on the street team and then like had my own street team. Like,
wow.
It was cool. It was super cool.
And when did you start learning how to DJ?
2010. So I went to Nocturnal, Texas.
Oh wow.
In Rockdale, Texas. It doesn't even exist anymore. And saw like, who was it? I saw Avicii, Armin, Green Velvet, and was just like, I'm hooked. And literally went back home. I was living in Oklahoma at the time, and went back home.
You traveled a lot back then.
Yeah, so I was in school.
I see.
Because of baseball. So like my first 2 years, I went to community college, then was in Oklahoma and St. Louis. So
wow.
Went back, downloaded Virtual DJ, and was like, all right, I'm on. And just started playing. Like, it's funny because in Oklahoma, like in this small town of 7,000, everyone listens to hip hop and country. And here I am playing these parties, these house parties for college kids, playing dance music, and they're like, yo, what's going on? Like, play Rick Ross.
Oh.
I'm like, all right.
Also, they did not like it.
No, they hated it.
Oh.
It was like that with G House too for a while. Like when I first started playing it in Phoenix, like the first 2 years, I'd literally play shows and people would just stand there and stare at me. They hated it. And they're like, what are you doing?
What changed?
I honestly think the big change was when like Destructo and Wax Motif came around, and that sound, and like Hard Summer and Hard Day of the Dead. I think that kind of changed the mold. And I think the biggest thing was when like familiar vocals started to come on the G House records. People were like, oh, this is cool. I can dance to a house record, but I know the lyrics too.
Okay. So when did you start taking DJing more seriously and like creating your own music?
I started producing 2012.
Okay.
I was playing professional baseball by that time, and then I quit.
Oh, you were playing professional baseball?
Yeah.
What position were you?
I was a pitcher.
Wow.
Yeah, so I played all 4 years in college, then played independent ball for the Scottsdale Centennials for 2 years.
It's impressive.
Thank you. I was doing music all during that time, promoting all that, and finally was like, you know what, I don't love this anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm the type of person, if I don't love something, I'm gonna move on. You know, so I didn't love it anymore. It was more of a job. So I said, all right, let me go take music seriously. And I got a job at Jersey Mike's and was like, I'm just gonna figure this out. And eventually,
while making sandwiches.
Yeah, while making sandwiches. Yep.
How do I make a new track while making
a sandwich? Sir, can I get a number 13 Italian, please? Yes. Can we get a side of snare and clap with that?
That's so funny. Wow. Okay, so you went from a pro athlete to a professional sandwich maker.
Yes.
To a pro DJ.
Yes. It's been an interesting ride.
What are some challenges you have faced throughout that whole journey?
Ooh, I mean, literally wanting to quit music. In like 2015, I got to a point where I just didn't want to be in music anymore. Nobody was signing my tracks. I was like, I don't know what to do. Shout out to Wax Motif for this, because he used to do this thing on Facebook where he listed his 10 best tracks of the month, and I sent him an email, right? It was like, hey, I want to quit music, blah blah blah. Send him this song. He didn't respond, but what he did was he took that song and he put it number 2 in the list.
Oh wow.
And I literally didn't quit music because of that.
Wow.
Then Dr. Fresh signed one of my records like a week later, and then I got an opportunity to work with Kevin Federline, which a lot of people actually don't know about. If you're wondering who that is, it's Britney Spears' ex-husband.
I was like, oh, who's that? Yeah.
He's always been a rapper and doing a bunch of stuff, and I was working with him as a producer. And I was coming out to LA a lot. I was here like 2 weeks out of the month, every month, working with him. And I was able, as soon as we like locked that in, I quit Jersey Mike's. I was like, here's my 2 weeks, I'm out.
Wow. Okay, and then I know you did a collaboration with Dr. Fresh for Hello.
Yeah.
And that kind of just set things off, would you say?
That changed the game. That came out the same week I had my first night bass release ever. And then you had like Dylan Francis, Don Diablo. Everybody was playing Hello, and that song literally changed my life.
Wow.
Like that came out and that happened, and we started getting tour offers like that summer for shows.
Wow. Okay.
So it was cool.
From then on, so you started taking music more seriously, you created more tracks, you came out with a couple albums? Or EPs?
Some EPs, yeah.
EPs?
I had like my first night bass EP. I think there was another one on Home Run House I did with Jerry Gonza. Last year we did my debut album. which was Diamond City, which is funny because like this shows the Phoenix pride. Like literally, right? I was like, yo, like how can I coin something kind of like how Travis Scott did like Astro World, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well we got the Diamondbacks in Phoenix, so we're gonna make this Diamond City. And everything of the album art was like the background of like colors of Phoenix, like the oranges and the yellows and the reds and things of that sort. And I implemented different parts of my life into that actual album artwork as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it was fun.
Yeah, and I know, what was this? Okay, Chop It Up.
Yeah.
That is your biggest hit to date. What was the process of making that song?
This is so funny. I made that song in 1 hour.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So.
Okay.
I have a friend, right? He goes by Anada, and he had a friend of his. So his name's Marcus, who's a good friend of mine. He's also my engineer. And he was like, yo, Marcus is having trouble finishing records. And I was like, oh, perfect. Have him come over, right?
Yeah.
Because this like went into my teaching side of things. I was like, all right, let's figure out how we can get him out of that. So I was like, have him come over. I already had the vocals, right? And I do this thing called the 1 hour challenge.
Okay.
And what I do is I'll sit down, I'll have a vocal, and I'll write the most of a song I possibly can in a whole hour. And the reason for this is so that you can just let things flow seamlessly, so you're not thinking, right?
Yeah.
You're just allowing like all the creativity to come out of you, and it's like the art of flow.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
And he came over, and I was like, all right, Marcus, sit right here. We're gonna set the clock. And I'm gonna write the song.
Wow.
And an hour later, I had the full song, like full arrangement, everything.
That's insane.
The next day I took like another hour just like fine tuning things. And it was like, all right, cool, send it off for mix and master.
Wow.
And it sat for like 8 months before we released it. And I
mean, if you can make songs in an hour, I feel like
it's not always like that. It's not always like that.
What would you say is the average for you, or range?
Like a day.
Oh wait, that's still so short. I thought you were gonna be like a month or like a couple weeks, you know?
I mean, there's certain things that I'll work on for a day and I'm like, all right, this is cool, but then I'll just let it sit for a week and I'll go back to it and then finish it.
Jeez.
It's just, the thing for me is I like to work on something and have like the full body of work there.
Yeah.
And then let it sit, test it live, go back out and play it live, right? Come back to the studio, fine tune this, fine tune that, and kind of get things so I know it works well with the crowd.
Got it.
Because I know if I play something and it works well with the crowd that first go around, then we have something good.
Got it. That's smart.
So,
like test it out with the crowd and come back to it.
Yeah, it's like trial and error. Because like, what's the rush?
Yeah.
You know?
And I guess this is a question more for the fans, I guess. So how would you differentiate G house and bass house?
Okay. So G house is more hip hop influence from not only the instrumentation side of things to like the synths, the type of instruments you're using, the vocals. Bass house can have rap vocals, but I feel like bass house has more dubstep influence in it than G house actually does.
Oh, interesting.
So that's a good question.
Okay, and how did you start making G house? Like what was that process? 'Cause I know it's on the newer end, I guess.
So I started as a trance DJ.
You were a trance DJ?
Yeah.
I could see that because you were saying Tiesto and
Tiesto, yo, things like Marcus Scholes, like Coma, like Cold Harbor back in the day. I was vibing. Like 138, like dark. Because if you think about it, like I love techno.
Yeah.
Right? So this
I love techno too.
Yeah, it's so good.
I started out loving trance and then now at techno, but went through this whole journey.
Ooh, okay. So now what's next?
Well, I think techno's the end.
Okay.
So it was like trance, and then it was like big room, and then there was like dubstep and hardstyle, and then there was like bass house and like G house, and now I'm like at techno.
I think everyone's gone through that phase, too,
right?
You know, techno's the final phase. It's like here we are.
Final evolution.
I feel like when you start getting older too, it's like all right, techno's the vibe.
It's like to chill, and like to groove, not
like,
trying to go hard anymore.
Like we saw Nicole Mudaber at Beyond this weekend.
Oh yeah.
She's my second favorite DJ of all time.
Really? I'm actually going to ARC Festival this weekend in Chicago.
Ooh.
That lineup is stacked.
That's gonna be huge.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Back to the question.
What was the question?
What was the question? Oh no.
Oh, how did I start making
G house? Yeah.
So I always had the love for hip hop, right? And I was loving house music at the same time as I was loving trance. And I was like, but I don't know how I'm gonna make this work. You know, like, how am I gonna combine the two? Then I heard Rondo by Torn Foot from Australia. Destructo had played it at Hard Day of the Dead, and I was just like, yo, this is what they did. They used like these G house bass womps or whoop whoop type things, and they added hip hop vocals. So it's like the song was like, I ball out like Ray Jean Rondo.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
You know? So since then I was like, then I started studying. I was like, all right, who's this Torn Foot guy? Who's like now my homie, right? Then who's Destructo? Who's this? Who's that?
Oh, and this is when you discovered Destructo.
Yeah. And this is when I discovered like the Cool Cats from back in the day, and like the Mean Edge and Dance and all these kind of guys, and it kind of just
Anime Edge and Dance.
Oh, it's crazy, you know, like where it went, and now it's been it's funny because like a lot of people think G House is new, but it's just actually evolved for the last probably almost 10 years.
Interesting.
You know,
okay.
like you can't sample like big hip hop vocals anymore and get away with it.
Yeah.
Back then in the SoundCloud era, you could totally get away with that.
Oh.
And do anything.
Yeah. Wow. So you just kind of like fine-tuned it and made it your own style.
And I still do that to this day. I'm like, that brings me to like the next body of work I'm releasing, which is my EP that comes out in 2 weeks on the 17th. And it's the Street Knowledge EP. Okay. And for me now, right, I have to have a project that I'm working on. I don't like to go in the studio anymore and just be like, oh, I'm just making this just because blah, blah, blah. Like, I like to have
like a purpose,
a thought out purpose and like a plan, you know, because then when I go in with a plan, I know that I need to, exactly what I need to do. Yeah. Like, here's the process.
I feel like you seem like a very organized person, or like a very streamlined, get things done type of person.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, I'm very time oriented, very like, you hit the nail on the head. It's like, get shit done, you know? So like that project, I was like, well, what rappers do I want to work with next? And there's these guys out of Buffalo, like, so my dad's from Buffalo, just outside, right? So like I have roots in Buffalo. And there's these guys that have been popping off, they go by Griselda. It's like Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine, West Side Gun. And I was like, yo, I'm huge fans of these dudes. And I was like, all right, let me dig into them. Started digging into them, found out Benny has his own label called BSF. Yeah. My students, shout out to Kayla, was like, hey, I know who the manager is. This dude, Jake. Shout out to Jake too. And she's like, yo, I've been talking to him about you, blah, blah, blah. He wants to link up with you. And I was like, perfect, because I'm working on this EP and I want it to be all rappers from Buffalo.
Oh, interesting.
Right? I was like, I'm gonna do some, because everybody's doing the West Coast shit. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna do the East Coast thing. I'm always like, I've always been the type of person to go against the grain. It's like, all right, you guys are doing this is what's hot, I'm doing something different. Yeah. I'm doing my own thing. So through Jake, I met Rick Hyde, who's like my homie now. He just dropped his album. Has like G Herbo, West Side Gun, like a bunch of dope rappers on it. Benny's on it. Oh, wow. So
it's a lot of names.
Yeah, I have 2 songs with Rick. The first one came out last month called Curses. It's funny though because there's 6 songs on the EP. We cut it down from 15. 15? Yeah, we had 15. I told my team,
album.
Yeah, I was like, why don't we just do another album? They're like, no, we just did one. I get excited.
That's so funny.
I'll quietly work on a whole bunch of stuff and then send it to them, and they're like, yo, when have you been doing this? I was like, well, I've been working.
And it's just an hour a song, so actually all in one day.
Yeah, I did it in one day. So over the last probably 9 months since Chop It Up, because after Chop It Up I was like, what's the next project gonna be? You know, I gotta do something that makes sense and is like strong. So 6 tracks. It's the Street Knowledge EP, and basically,
I like the name.
Thank you. It's I'll show you the artwork. Cool. Basically, I kind of took what I had done over the last year with like my music academy, and was like, all right, I've been teaching, right? Yeah. My music is very street oriented in regards to the rappers and the lyrical content. So I was like, yo, why don't I combine the two and we have street knowledge? So all the branding and everything is like teacher themed, right? So there's like me as the teacher, and then the artwork is like, so I'm so excited to talk about this artwork. It's the first time I've got to talk about it.
Maybe I'll put like a little preview here in like the box.
Yeah, so cool. So I got on the track list is Street Knowledge. Then we have Rockstar with Tony Watts. He's the only other rapper on it that's not from Buffalo. Or actually that's not true. Chase Fetty is from New Jersey, but he's not part of BSF.
Close enough.
Close enough. So we got Street Knowledge, Code Blue with El Camino, which comes out this week. We have Rockstar, we have Curses, we have Hit Boys with Young World, who's also BSF.
Okay.
And then I have another record with Chase Fetty, who's also part of BSF. He was on Big Dog that I did with Dr. Fresh this year. So the artwork, right? The track list side, it's like me as the teacher, and it's like Street Knowledge 101, and then it's the track list, so it's like a curriculum.
That's cool.
Right? Thank you.
It's a very cohesive theme.
Yeah. So then the front side is all, so it's like the 5 rappers and me as students, right? But then the city in the background like getting burned down, right? And it's like they're in the classroom.
Wait, the rappers are getting burned down?
No, the buildings.
Oh, okay.
Right, so everyone's like sitting, and so what I did was, I've never seen this in dance music, but I've seen it in hip hop. So a friend of mine named Antoinette Colley, she's an amazing artist and painter, and she's from Phoenix, and I have some of her art. And over the last year or so, her and I become friends, and she just moved to Germany, and I was like, hey, I have this project, because we'd been talking about doing an album artwork with her hand drawing and painting it.
Oh, wow.
So we went through the entire process, and she hand drew and painted the entire thing on canvas.
That's amazing.
So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's a big project.
Yeah.
Wow, and I know you mentioned the Music Academy in the last year.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk more about that? Was this during COVID?
This was during COVID. It's called Homework Academy, which usually people think of homework and they're like, oh no. We have fun, for sure. So I've had over 150 students in the last 18 months.
It's a lot. Wait, virtually or?
All virtually,
yeah. Okay.
A couple of my consistent students who I work with weekly, every now and then I'll meet with them in person. But it's been really, really fun to give back and kind of help the next generation of producers who want to make music, and my dad was a teacher, so I feel like that's just kind of in my blood.
It's natural.
Yeah.
This theme makes even more sense. I'm wait a minute.
Yeah, so that it all tied in, right?
Are you currently taking students, or how does that work? Do they just email you, or? So
we had a portal that we were running through the entire thing. It started as me just posting on Instagram. I posted and I was like, maybe I'll get 2 or 3 people that actually respond about this.
Yeah.
I had 15 people the first day sign up. I was like, okay, this is more serious than I thought. So right now my books are closed. I just don't have the capacity to take on more students. I have people knocking down my door hey, we want to get in. I had one guy who was consistent for 8 months, but he had to take a month off, and in that month everything got filled, so now I'm trying to get him back in. So it's
insane.
It's busy.
Yeah. Super
busy.
What else have you been doing throughout COVID? Was it a productive year for you?
It was very productive. Spent a lot of time with my family, which is nice.
So the Music Academy was the main focus during that time?
Yes, totally.
Got it.
I was making a ton of music, the EP.
Yeah.
A lot of the time too, a lot of the travel I was doing was around the country, meeting up with rappers, meeting up with vocalists. I kind of took the promoter, from the street level attitude was I'm gonna go do the groundwork.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go meet all these guys.
Wow.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do so that we can work together. But also in doing that, a lot of these rappers have become my homies.
Oh.
I
feel your whole life just is it a full circle in a sense where it's you took it from the street when you were promoting on the streets to learning music, and then also using that and your history as your dad as a teacher to now teach other people and find rappers me. I don't know, I could see the whole
wow.
It just makes sense in my head now.
I get that. I haven't even thought about that. But I feel taking that the core era of where you came from, like as an
Yeah.
artist. I feel like a lot of people lose that, and I try to keep that and implement it like into what I do every day. You know, because I feel like that's so important. Because one thing that I don't like from an artist standpoint, which is funny, I'll talk about this right now, is when artists get to a level where they're like, I'm too big, or I don't want to be like in the ground level with the people that are coming to the shows, and I'm like, yo, that's lame. You know, but I've seen it, and it's like an ego thing.
Yeah.
You know, it does exist.
Wow. That's amazing that you're doing so much and you're helping others and giving back.
Thank you.
In terms of future, I know you talked about your EP coming up. Is there anything else that's upcoming, like any shows or tours?
There's a lot of shows. Lost Lands is coming up, which is going to be big. First time they're having a house stage at Lost Lands.
Oh.
So that'll be cool. Bunch of stuff this fall. I'm working on another EP now. I'm working on an album again. That won't be coming for a while though.
You're working on a lot of things.
Yeah. And I'm like kind of working on more hip hop stuff now too. Like as a producer, you know. Hello. New merch. We just did like the Bijou like Suns jerseys.
Oh.
So we're gonna do more.
Back to Phoenix.
Yeah, back to Phoenix. Always. But we're gonna do more merch for the EP.
Okay.
And then I'm doing like, my goal with the merch is I actually want to have like a clothing brand.
Oh.
That's like on my goals.
Wow.
So I have like a
Makes
5-year
sense.
plan for that.
You have a 5-year plan? Your whole life is just like planned to a T with like exactly when everything's gonna happen, like what you're gonna do.
It never happens like that though, ever.
So can you tell me what is on your, like vaguely on your 5-year plan?
Alright, so everything I'm doing is like limited runs.
Okay.
So basically like we just did the Suns jersey, like you can never get those again. That was
smart.
one time.
It's how the rappers do the drops and everything too.
Exactly.
Like OVO and like...
I took it from West Side Gun. So West Side Gun literally, before he was even big in rap, built this huge clothing company called Buffalo Kids. Like, yo, he's working with like Virgil Abloh and like all these huge high-end designers now.
Wow.
And they do these one-off drops. You can get them one time. So basically what I'm doing is I'm doing pre-sales on everything. So here's the design. You get it for this many days.
Yeah.
Get it while you can. You're never getting it again.
Wow.
So it's honestly been fun because it opens up like another side creatively.
Do you design everything yourself too, or you have someone help you?
I help design.
Oh, you help design?
Yeah, I don't do the full design like the sketches and all that. But I came from like, this is funny, I came from a graffiti background for like 7-8 years.
Okay.
So like the visual side of things to me is like so important too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I feel like you literally came from like every single background imaginable at this point. I'm like, what else do you do?
I've done a lot of things.
It's like jack of all trades over here.
Try. What's next? We're gonna do, let's see, maybe we'll try comedy. No, I'm not funny.
And part of the 5-year plan on year 6.
Yeah, year 6. All right, we got the merch set up. So now we're going into comedy.
Okay.
Jim Jeffries, holler at me. I saw you unfollow me on Instagram.
Oh my god. Damn, okay, so merch you're gonna make that to the line, and then that's what your focus is for now, or in the next few years.
Yeah, and
Okay.
musically. But like eventually, I want to stop touring.
Oh.
Not completely, but not where I'm like playing like 12 shows a month
Yeah.
all the time.
Just like less.
Like 3-4 shows a month, selective, but like I want to have a family and have children, and it's very difficult to do that while touring. So
Yeah.
like, my end goal, I've never said this publicly, is to end up just as like a hip hop producer.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
just be producing hip hop full time.
Wow.
So
Back
that's
to your roots.
beginning.
Wow. And speaking of touring, I saw you took your mom and your brother to Beyond. How was that experience?
So much fun. It was his like 30th birthday weekend,
Oh.
so we were celebrating.
Was that their first time?
No,
Oh.
my mom came to EDC the first time. My brother's been to like EDC Orlando.
How was that with your mom?
They're wild. They're so wild. My mom was like, yo, Dr. Fresh had my mom out in front of the stage jumping up and down while I was DJing, and the stage manager's like yelling at them to get off the stage. So she was like, all night. She's like, this is the greatest night of my life. She got to meet Shaq.
Oh wow.
She was freaking out. Literally freaking out.
Oh, that's so like wholesome in a
Yeah.
sense.
He's like so tall. She walks up to him and just like pokes him. She's like, hi, can I take a picture with you?
How tall is your mom?
She's little. She's like this tall.
How are you so tall?
My dad. He's 6'5".
Oh, that makes sense.
Tall man. So that it was so much fun. And I'm glad we got to bring them out. And then my dad and my brother are gonna, or I think they're all gonna come to Beyond at the Gorge.
Oh, that's gonna be beautiful.
It's gonna be amazing.
Wow.
I'm excited for that.
Okay. And I guess this is another random side note that I saw from the fan questions.
Okay.
You've been sober for 9 years.
Yeah.
Like what happened? Or like not happened, I guess. What caused that?
That's valid. I never had an alcohol problem or drug problem. I did it completely for my health. Yeah. So I haven't drank in 9 years. Like we're going on 10. Next July will be 10.
It's amazing.
And honestly, I had like stomach ulcers and like some stomach issues when I was in college. So I was like, I need to figure out how I can fix this.
Yeah.
And me stopping drinking was the first thing I did. And it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah, I feel like you're much more productive.
Yeah. Never hungover, never feeling like crap. I'm always in control too.
Yeah.
You know, and like so much goes on. Like while touring, I feel like not drinking just is the safest possible thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I never have any issues.
Wow. It's impressive.
Thank you.
Very, very impressive. I have friends who also quit alcohol, and it's always a journey. So that's why I wanted to ask you as well.
Yeah, it's I literally I'll never forget. I went to the club. We got a table. I drank a whole bottle of Grey Goose. Woke up the next day. It was like never drinking again.
And that was it.
And I haven't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I wish I had that same like motivation. So one day wake up and be like, nope, never again.
Just like boom.
Yeah.
I have like crazy. I'm wild. I'll do stuff like that. Like not never again, and I'll never do it again.
What other crazy stories do you have?
I'm trying to think. Last time at the Gorge, this was during Paradiso. This isn't that crazy.
I went to Paradiso.
Really?
I think before COVID, 2 years ago?
I think that might 2 or 3 years. I think I played in 2017.
I might be 18.
I don't remember which one it was. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
I remember I jumped off the stage, right off the booth to the front. Didn't realize how far the drop was.
Did you sprain your ankle?
I didn't hurt myself.
Oh, okay.
But when I like saw it, I looked down and was like, ooh, I better brace for this one. It was like probably a 10-foot drop. It was like, boom, all right, we made it. I got back. My friend, who was my tour manager at the time, goes, do not do that again. I'm like, why? He's like, you didn't get insurance like you were supposed to, right? And he goes, you also almost hit your head on the thing above, and you would have flipped and just, yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's like crazy stories of like missing flights and things of that sort, but I keep it pretty chill on tour. I try it, like, this is business to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's too many people that get in trouble on tour, and I'm
True.
not gonna be that person.
Yeah, makes sense. Smart moves all around.
Yeah. Like, go play the show, smoke a little weed, you know, and that's about it.
That's a good night for you.
Yeah, keep it chill.
Yeah. And I have one last question for you.
Okay.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Ooh, that's such a good thing to ask. I want to be remembered for giving back and for helping other people.
Oh, wow.
You know? It's like, if you think about it, like even playing the shows, a lot of people go to shows to get away from like the things they're dealing with or like a bad week at work. And the fact that we can provide that for someone else is like so heartwarming to me.
Wow.
So I think it would be one of those.
Wow, that was a great response. Wow. Cool, and that basically sums up our Sidewalk talk. Thank you for joining us today if you made it this far, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.